especially from the point of view of a young professional and a young executive director and co-founder of Constantly Rebuilding. Floating bodies, cries for help, decay and debris, those were all the images that flashed before our screens after Hurricane Katrina hit just 3.5 years ago. These images resonated in me, and it really called out for me to do something about it. Therefore, I did. I packed up my stuff, I applied to Tulane, I got accepted, and I decided to head to New Orleans because I knew that I could do something to help prevent those images from ever being displayed again. When I got to New Orleans, I thought, wow, everyone needs to help. I really want to help. I'm really sincere about it. I thought everyone would just, have their arms open, welcome me, and say, yes, you came, this is what we want you to do, and, this is how you're going to do it, and we're just so glad you're here. Well, when I got there, it was complete chaos. It still smelled, the place that I was staying at was still being renovated. Tulane had not fully recovered yet, so we were kind of just, they said, working with each other, and making sure that we just understood that this was something that never happened before, just be open-minded. My Katrina project that I thought would just be easy to get, I didn't find. Most of them were contracted out. Most people made a lot of money, billions of dollars off of the recovery. So that left a lot of people like myself just wandering aimlessly throughout the city saying, well, I'm here, they're telling me I can't really help, but I see people on the ground that still need help. How could this be? My neighbor says he needs help. The woman across the street says that she needs help. Even at Tulane, they say they need help, but there's nowhere that I can go. So I kind of accepted it, and I just went ahead and focused on my studies. And sort of halfway through my studying, after the first year, there was this new wave of hope. Brad Pitt came down, there was a lot of media attention, it was just all this new energy with young professionals, from all different universities. They call them volunteerists. They would come down and help out, and it was just awesome. And I was like, oh my God, this is just a great energy that I really want to be a part of. I feel it now. I think it'll be easy for me to help now. Well, I was hit with a different surprise, and it was really something that I never really experienced before, this competition between projects, and competition between nonprofits, and competition between government agencies. So even though there was this wave of hope, it was still hard for me to fit in. What can I do? Where can I go? These people, it's very segregated, racially, by economic class, by nonprofit. This is our territory. We work in the Lower Ninth Ward. No, we work in Treme. No, we work in Central City. And it just seemed like, it was a house divided. And so I said, okay, I'll just graduate, and I'm going to move, go back to Washington, go to Washington, D.C., have my dream job. And I was approached by another student, and she told me, hey, Yasmin, do you really feel satisfied with your efforts? You said you came down to help. Do you feel like you've accomplished that? And I said, not really, but wow, it's just so hard, I did one cleanup, and, it's just so hard. I don't see myself doing anything else here. And she said, no, you know what? I think we should start a nonprofit. And I said, I don't know. But anyway, needless to say, she's very convincing, and we decided to take all of our frustration and our perspective and our degree as a professional and say, you know what? We can offer a different point of view. We still see that this trickling down of resources and money is not really reaching those people. Therefore, Consciously Rebuilding was born in May of 2007 when I graduated. Okay. Alright, so our mission as Consciously Rebuilding, when we first got started, I really want to paint this picture. We were young. If you weren't a volunteer, you were a student. So there weren't really many young professionals who owned their own business. So we were, eyesores standing out there. And I say eyesores because we didn't get really happy looks when we would attend events. We would always get looks like, are they lost, or what are you doing? So we really did have to, we knew that we were not only climbing uphill, but we were starting like 6 feet under. So our strategy was just to be out there. We saw a lot of opportunities to we basically hustled to get our name out there. We had all these different ideas, like, okay, you know, we want to address environmental issues, we want to address social issues, economic issues. What can we do? So we would attend all these city meetings, and we even volunteered for the city, and it was so confusing to us. I think people got that confusion, and so they just sort of said, okay, these girls aren't seriously, and they did, they called us girls, and you know, they thought that maybe we just woke up one day and said we just want to start a nonprofit. It actually was a fleshed out idea. So that energy, coupled with being young, it resulted in a lot of challenges that I had never experienced before. It wasn't your typical doing a research project. It wasn't your typical just attending school. It was really all the paperwork that involved being legit to be a nonprofit and then not being taken seriously because people don't think that you took those steps. Okay. So then we soon learned the truth about politics. We learned that in order to even get our name out there, we had to be politicians. We had to, seduce the politicians about this idea, figuratively. And, we would tell them, okay, we really think that the community should be involved. We have these community projects. We want to do community education. We really want to get those people with the resources down to, our level. Oh, that's fabulous, that's wonderful, and then they disappear. So you're like, okay, did I do something wrong? What should I say? And it was just a challenge that we weren't prepared for. Despite all of that, despite all of the competition, the politics, and the ism, the sexism, which they can blatantly do, the ageism, which we were always asked our age before we were even invited to a meeting. We still persevered, and we created a niche for this community-based environmental health outreach. And that's really the underlying foundation of consciously rebuilding. So now I'm just going to talk about our programs. So our programs are just designed to target marginalized communities, target our neighbors, target low-income communities, target those people who are still saying we need help, and the government, saying we've given you the help. So there's a disconnect. What's up? What's up with that? How come you're saying there's money, but the people who are, the everyday people are saying I haven't received anything? It was sort of like, I guess it can be summed up as, a lot of people came down to volunteer, and that was awesome. That was great. They would gut people's homes. That was like the Katrina thing to do. Like, I gutted all these homes in the Lower Ninth Ward, or, it was awesome, and we cleaned it up, and so now there's this fix. But they left. That was all that nonprofits or these organizations had the capacity to do. There was no accountability from the insurance companies or from the Road Home program or from FEMA. So there was this huge gap. You're left with a home that's been gutted, and you have no steps after that. And that kind of symbolizes what New Orleans, or where New Orleans is right now. So we use our programs to help fill in that gap. Yes, we're very small, and we know we can't build a whole house, but we can at least provide people with the tools and link people up with where they need to be. So we use our programs basically to incorporate health into how people live, consume, and learn. So we have 3 programs. Green housing, that's the big buzzword. Global Green has their houses, Brad Pitt and Make It Right, they have their homes, and they're awesome. They're in the Lower Ninth Ward. Not everybody lives in the Lower Ninth Ward. So what we do is we go to different communities, and we have health fairs, and we do consultations. We say, okay, we want to include you in this green movement. What can you do? Let's sit down and see what your day is like. All right, how do you use energy? How do you use water? What's your indoor air quality like? How do what's your waste like? And then we evaluate that, and we say, you know what? This part of your life is already green. You're already a part of it. It can be very overwhelming when someone is bombarded with all this green stuff, green products tossed everywhere. So we're trying to say, no, it's more of a lifestyle within your home. What can you do to improve it step by step?